Okay, so what I'm showing is the landing page of our online banking community, and James Bond is logged into this online portal. And right now, this is just the landing home page of our Zen Bank experience. And traditionally, a user would navigate through to their account information and manually go through different areas to do things such as looking at their balances or maybe reporting an issue or performing some level of transactions. And today I'm going to do this in a much easier fashion because I have this online banking assistant through Agentforce that is able to help me. So at the bottom right of my screen is this little chat widget that would traditionally be a person, but today I have an online banking assistant powered by Agentforce. So I'm just going to start off with something here to ask it, show me my balances. And in this case, it's going to think about the request. And since I'm in an online banking experience, it's not necessarily going to just give me that information right away. We have some security measures built in to do a little more validation on myself before it starts helping me with financial related requests. So it's asking me to at least provide my name and email and either my birthday or last four of my social security. And so this case, I'm going to give it that information for that online user verification. And hopefully that succeeds. And so here, great. So now I can see my available funds and even some of my outstanding loan balances summarized by the agent. And something I'm a little more interested in is the latest transactions on my checking account. So I can drill in a little bit and start asking questions about my financial information. And so it's going to confirm that's looking for the right account. And with each of these requests, it's figuring out what the next possible best action is to proceed with and digging in and coming up with the best possible answer. Um, each of these it should be able to respond with and not have any issue having to escalate the request. So here it's really just giving me some recent transactions that I may be interested in, and something I'm more concerned about, and actually the reason why I came into this is because I am concerned about the $750 purchase that I don't think I actually made. So I'm going to report that. I'm going to say this gift purchase was not me, and I need to get my money back. And so this is going to kind of raise concern that I really need more of a support level request. So it's supporting my issue in summarizing that and asking if it can create a case for me to go off and have that investigated. So I'm just going to say, yes, please. And so hopefully they can help me with this because I'm reporting a fraudulent transaction. And so I have a case number back that is going to be investigated by the team and they'll get back out to me. Um, so that's okay for me for now. And there's a couple other things I want to do. I'd actually like to transfer some of the funds that I have into my savings account. Let's protect my checking account if there's fraudulent transactions being taken on. And so it's double checking what available funds I have. And I'm actually just for now, I'm going to ask to transfer 25K from my checking account to my savings. Got a lot to work with here. And so it should confirm and it actually proceeded with that transaction and updated my balance to a new balance in my savings account. So that's really convenient that it's just able to help it move money around. And if it can do that, how about I also pay down my mortgage? And I'm asking it to pay down my mortgage to 500K, which if you notice in the beginning, my original balance was 524K. So it's helping me with how much the payment could be to reduce it to a certain amount. Um, so I'm going to say that's right, and it can proceed with that mortgage payment. And so you could proceed with these for different reasons, but since this is performing more of a monetary request, it will double check who I am. And this is something that could be configured in the agent on when you want to validate the user, maybe only under certain circumstances. Maybe you only want the first time, and maybe it's okay for subsequent times. In this case, it was double checking again, but it did complete that mortgage payment for me. So that was very, very helpful. So this is becoming a pretty helpful assistant. So I'm actually going to ask a little bit more about one of my accounts, and I'm going to ask about my credit card balance. So it may have already told me in the beginning what my balance was, but I want to ask some more questions about my credit card. So when it can answer that, I'm actually going to ask more along the lines of like my limits, how much is my available credit and my credit limit. So each of these things, it can drill in further about relevant account information, and instead of trying to seek that out or look it up, it should be able to summarize that for me. And maybe I want to ask how much cash I can take out on my credit card. Since I didn't have any cash before. But just a little bit. And the last action I might show is what branch is closest to me to withdraw some of the funds. So this is showing another possible capability where based off my location, it can go and look up what's nearest to me for branches to go walk in and actually interact with a branch to withdraw some funds. So this is just highlighting some possibilities with an online banking agent and just showing kind of how easy it can be from a conversational format for a end customer to complete activities, summarize information, or really just get assistance that wouldn't take manual intervention to go look up or summarize. So all of that was the agent experience. And as like the online banking user, if I really wanted to drill in and see if it completed those activities, I can go and drill in and see, oh, okay, it did create that case for me, and I can have that case number available, or each of the transactions that I made to my financial account, I can see it actually made those transfers and updated my balances. So really just showing whatever whatever your end user experience is, it can go back and forth between summarizing information, updating information, and then the user can always drill in and see the details of what was accomplished. If I change personas now over to an internal employee that works at Zen Bank, that customer support representative or anyone monitoring the support channel, I have a different perspective in which I can review all the interactions by individual customers. And many conversations like that I just demonstrated didn't need human intervention, but there may also be a need to review and audit what the agent was actually facilitating without human intervention, to review if it was in compliance, if it did what it was supposed to, or maybe it didn't do what it was supposed to, and you need to follow up with the customer to make things right if something went uneventful. In this case, everything was successful, but I want to show the kind of audit trail and tracking capabilities of that whole conversation being related to the customer data in the internal CRM, and also some level of tracking capabilities from more of a compliance and security standpoint. So we can capture things like the user's IP address and their device and the user ID that was logged in to the online banking experience. So everything can be traced back to the transactions that might have occurred by the end agent. We also can do things like having a peer review process assisted by other AI agents or prompting techniques. So when this agent conversation ended, we trigger a secondary automated agent prompt that reviews and summarizes the whole conversation and comes up with kind of a quality review metric to indicate how well the customer was satisfied, some level of sentiment analysis, and also any checks and balances you need to review that the agent is supposed to do in all of its conversations. So that's another way you could audit and monitor the agent's performance and come back and like trigger alerts or report on good or bad quality experiences. So that shows all the aspects of the demo, highlighting the end customer, the agent, everything the agent could potentially do and more, and then the aspect of human intervention and tracking and audit trail after the fact. Great. So what we just saw was an Agentforce for Service agent that we created a topic and a series of actions to complete what you just saw. So everything with Agentforce can be explained in terms of topics and actions and how it's configured and executes. So the topic that we showed was simply labeled online banking, and it had sets of instructions and classification text and a lot of things we could talk about in more of a detailed session, but it really tells the agent when it should run certain actions and what are the classifications for doing so and any guardrails that it should have. So each of these actions that you saw are all the mechanisms that the agent can actually execute, and that turns into tangible either flows or possible Apex code, or in our case, we also have some prompt templates that include additional AI summaries for performing each of these banking specific use cases. So these are all custom topics that we created on top of some of the out of the box Agentforce capabilities for case management and escalation to create cases or escalate. A lot of those capabilities actually come out of the box, and then you're just customizing and expanding for your specific use cases. Go ahead, Manveer. And this is another breakdown of kind of all the features and capabilities that we presented on top of Agentforce for Service. So this being more of a financial services, banking, or credit union example, this utilizes Financial Services Cloud and was using some of those core objects around financial accounts and transactions and cards. So we built up the Agentforce agents on top of that and make use of the Agentforce features, which core to this was the agent builder, the actual ability to build and expose the agent, as well as prompt builder, which is the large language model mechanism to build AI prompts. And we exposed it through an experience cloud, which this was our online banking experience here. In reality, it doesn't have to be Experience Cloud. It could be if you have a custom website, Agentforce could interact with that as well. But this was a full Salesforce solution to show all these capabilities.
Thank you, everybody, for attending. We love this stuff, so we would love to do it again in a more captive fashion with you individually. And have a great rest of your week. And we'll be here for any needs you have around AI or data.